Not
I
very
think we
helpful.
wrapped it up. We were
Neat.
just trying to think of a good little thing to record for that Craig could put as a cold open, like live from Saturday Night Live or live from New York at Saturday.
Hi, Craig. Moo and good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon as well, and welcome to the Pinktron. With me tonight, but only briefly before he goes off to the curling spiel or whatever it's called. Um, Craig Martin, what are you drinking?
I actually am drinking nothing, but I do have I really like my bike, water bottle. So, yeah, no, yeah, and it's a Bonspiel.
I'm going to give Steph a bit of time because Steph has dressed up as Captain Kirk, which we will come back to. But also we'll come back to Steph for his drink because I can see he's just got one from the fridge. John Keenan is also here tonight. John, what are you drinking?
I just made myself an espresso, but I'm very excited. I found a cup I made like 12 years ago on a pottery wheel that makes me very happy. So,
I'll say that is a neat looking. I mean, you would get served that in a hipster cafe joint.
yeah,
That
it's
is
just
that.
the right
Yeah,
size for a hipster cafe espresso. Yeah.
yeah, exactly that. And Captain Kirk, Steph Etienne, our final panelist tonight. What are you drinking?
I was only getting a glass of some store brand Coke or Coca-Cola.
Well, I'm kind of struggling for a greasy link, but kind of thinking of things that you'll also struggle on. This week's HWR is, well, it was meant to be. We've had a bit of a chat in the Pictron chat. Was meant to be I say 2 laps of Bologna. It's really sort of 1.5 laps. 2 times up Bologna. But I think a bit of quick maths done by Mario forgot that there's those little bits where you turn around at either end of the lap. So we actually finish about 500 meters from the top of Bologna. As you go through the little wiggle from the left of the pathway to the right. So quite a cool finish spot actually, because normally that's the point where if you're hanging on, it flattens off a bit, and most people will try and attack. So it means if you're going to attack people, you're going to have to do it on probably the steepest part of the climb. Um, so yeah, it's 24K route, custom finish distance. You will finish before the finish line as you wiggle back through to the right hand side of the columns that you cycle along when
Oh,
it's
that is good to know. That's like
seen me forever.
25% of the climb. That's a significant chunk.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it kind of caught me out a little bit. I was looking at the distance and then I saw the banner pop up on the map and I was like, oh, okay. Because my plan had been to go hard there anyway, because I
Yeah.
found you can kind of gap people on that slightly fatter bit and then it's a sort of hard effort to the top. But it is a significant chunk of the climb. And also, if you've got a feather, which is what one of the guys in our group did, it is super effective when it's like 15% or whatever it is just before then. So, um, yeah, that blew Ernst and I comfortably out of the water in our little group of three. So, um, it's Bologna. We talked about it lots, but what we haven't talked about it lots is actually doing sort of stuff when you get to the top. Like normally we talk about
Mhm.
TTs, don't we? And kind of strategies. But what are you guys thinking? I mean, I'm not sure I got strategy right tonight. I don't think it mattered that much for me as a D. I think I was always going to find my group. I'm not going to hang on to some people on that climb. But yeah, how would you guys play it?
I mean, I'm not going to be climbing with the fastest. So for me, once I turn around at the top of the first climb, it is an whatever I've got sprint into the super tuck to try and catch anyone.
Hmm.
Because yeah, and worst case, I don't catch anyone, and then I either wait for somebody or solo, but it's not changing anything compared to not doing that.
Yeah, I have a distinct memory of doing this race, which was not supposed to be this race, and maybe a year ago, it was supposed to be one lap. It's supposed to be up at to Bologna, and then you finish at the banner at the top. And for some reason, race one didn't get set right, and it was essentially this. So we get up to the top, we go through the banner, and it still says, 3/4 of the distance to go before the
16K to
end of
go,
the
yeah.
16. And we're all in the chat like, what? What's going on? And So I was kind of like, oh, I don't really have time for this. I didn't budget for another climb up. Like, I'm not going to do well. And I'm sort of hemming and hawing. Am I going to DNF this? And people are just sort of putting time into me. And then I get to the start line and I'm like, no, I don't want to have to do this again tomorrow. I'm just going to finish this. And so then I just put my head down and I ended up getting to the base of the climb and I passed like four people because I was relatively fresh at that point, right? I hadn't really pushed that hard on the flatbed. Um, I don't know if that's probably not the right way to do it, but it's the way I did it and it felt pretty good by the end. So,
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's the same as, the same concept that we talk about just doing the TT up it, right? It's don't put in more effort than you have to on the flat because
mhm.
the climb is so steep and so long that it's just not going to pay off.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think I should have gone all out climbing rig. I don't think that would have helped me get the group ahead of me. Would it have helped me beat the guy who beat me with the feather at the end? Maybe.
maybe. Yeah.
What was interesting is when we got to the bottom, so like people sort of super tucked down, and there was Ollie and Ernst from the Hammerheads, who are both quite big guys who I kind of like, I'm not losing your wheels because I won't get them back.
Yeah.
Um, so it was Ollie's wheel I was on, and then two other guys caught us up, and we were doing 1 watt a kilo. Nobody wanted to pedal. It was crazy. And Ernst was just sat doing an Ernst like TT mode behind us and caught us up, and then we just sat on Ernst's wheel to the climb. And he actually beat three of that group um,
No.
because because he TT'd up the climb. And I'm pretty sure he did steady state all the way around. But I'd be interested to talk to Chris and see whether something similar happened in some of the faster groups, because you can get to a point where you're okay, you're 30 seconds down on the group ahead of you, but they've put that 30 seconds into you on the climb, and you're going to have to do the climb again. So kind of there's a bit of maths going on, isn't there? As Craig slides off to curling. There's a bit of maths going on, isn't there, about kind of if I'm being dropped on the climb, if somebody's putting 30 seconds to me on the climb, kind of they're going to put 30 seconds to me on the climb next time, surely, aren't they? But
Right. Right. Yeah, it's almost like you're bargaining about who can I wheel suck on the flat part if there's anybody around and if it's worth doing that. And then yeah, nobody's going to get any draft going up Bologna. So this is what you can do, I guess.
Steph, are you
And
planning to ride this one?
Probably I should, since I like climbing courses. So even though I don't like the steeper climb, but what the hell?
Yeah,
and
it's
this
an
Good, good,
interesting
good,
one.
good way to get some extra uh, elevation meters for my ATOS upgrade thingy.
What was interesting to watch is there were some people who didn't even try and stay with the pack at the start. So I stayed with the very front group for about 6 kilometers. And then there's a
oh
sort of little kick before the big kick starts. And I'm like, I'm just not going to spend any more chips staying with you guys now. But I'd put about a minute into Ernst, I
oh
think, by that point, which he got back impressive. I mean, I say the group ended up and just switched off on the descent and the bit round, but kind of did that cost me time up the climb? I felt like I was still fairly fresh up the climb. But,
the first climb, not
mm,
necessarily.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the first time's just going to separate people out into kind of the groups they should be in, right? But I don't know
Yeah.
whether. Yeah, so I did see some groups just being like, nah, not even going to try and stay at the front, going to treat this like a TTT, or a TT even, and I'm just going to go at my pace on the flat, and then I know what I can do up the climb, and I'll get people back there. So,
Yeah, I was just looking at the results. The winner of that race put out 5.1 watts per kilo on average. Big numbers. 376 watts. And then I mean it was definitely not a sprint for the finish kind of course, right? But everybody was sort of separated by looks like 30 seconds, 20, 30 seconds all the way down. So there wasn't a lot of bunching by the end, which I guess you'd
Yeah, it
expect
was.
the second time up the
Yeah,
hill.
yeah. Those first four guys were also separated, but yeah, then it's from four to scorekeeper with 50. It's a minute gap. Yeah, there's some people you could see some people stayed with each other so in the same seconds or a couple of seconds in between. But yeah,
Well, I'm hoping to do race two. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think the only thing I'd change is Matt. I'd probably go all out climber rig for this. So
Yeah,
actually, I think that climb is so decisive. Like the quickest bike you've got up there, kind of you're gonna. The group was so passive on the descent and on the way back around to the climb the second time around that you kind of that there was no aero. But I wasn't. I mean, yeah, I was saving watts by having a slightly more aero rig, but
right,
I
right.
I would have been saving those watts anyway by the fact that the group just went slow. So yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if I compare like a fully upgraded SL8 versus I think I only have one level of upgrade on my climbing bike, so I have to look at that and see what's better.
I'm going to come back to upgrades on Round the Horn, John. I've got a minor rant, but there we go.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
cool. HBR, Steph, do you know where we are on HBR this week?
yeah, we're doing two laps of one of the new routes, Towfield Tornado. It's essentially in Prospect Park. You do basically a figure eight of Prospect Park, and at the end of each lap, you do like three laps of that roundabout thingy outside of Prospect Park, and then you come back into the park and do it again. Yeah, it's a quite a nice course. We did it on three laps on ladder race this Monday on another course, Eisendorf Express, which is basically this route except the three loops around the roundabout. But yeah, it has two 500-meter hills in length, maximum like 6%. But yeah, quite an interesting course.
Yeah, it'd be a good summer racing league course, wouldn't it? With four segments on it. I don't know how
Yeah,
many
the
I don't know how many laps we could do because I don't know the Zwift power functionality. But yeah, with it being quite
yeah,
a short course and lots of sprints, could be a good
I would
bonkers head.
this one, but prefer if you like the course we did Eisendorf, that's basically 7 kilometers, and you have that four segments in it. So if you do like a couple of laps of that, it would be like 12, three sprints and one KOM. Well, I say KOM. It's a semi KOM sprint thingy, minute
Yeah,
efforts.
I mean, so what is that? It's 10K, so it's about, I mean, roughly a sprint every 2Ks, which is about downtown Dolphin level of silliness,
Yeah,
isn't it? We're not quite getting beyond that yet, so.
Well, then the Towfield Tornado would be interesting in like an HSRL or even an
Mm.
HWR because that big roundabout is, oh, what does it end up being 500, 700 meters a lap?
yeah.
Like, and if you've got a whole bunch of people spread out, like you might be able to grab onto a group behind you if the timing's right on that.
Yeah, because the lap is the route lap is about 10K, and I know Eisendorf is about 7K. So basically, you do 3K in that
Oh, it's
roundabout
even
section.
longer than that. Yeah. It seemed long. I was like, yeah, I only wrote it sort of on my own once. So
Nice. I've not ridden much of New York yet, so might dip into an HBR this weekend to check that one out. What would we say? I mean, it looks like it's with limited climbing, it's your most aero bike, isn't it, for this
Yeah,
kind of stuff? So yeah, I'm going to check that out. Enjoy. Shall we talk ZRL before we go news, chaps? So ZRL this week was on a disgusting London course, which involved going up Fox Hill twice. Were either of you racing?
Was about to
No.
say, I think you're the only one of the us three doings that are on the same this round.
I know Craig is. So Craig was saying beforehand that him and Chris had some good shenanigans in their team, attacking at the top of Fox and also attacking the sprint at the finish, which was quite cool. So but yeah, I think the HWR course is harder. I mean, it's still two times up a climb, but that Bologna climb is a brute, even though it's
Yeah,
a similar sort of time distance. It feels like it somehow feels harder for the steepness.
yeah,
And isn't there a
definitely.
course that ends on Fox Hill at the Banner? Maybe I'm getting them confused now, but yeah,
No, no. It's Fox Hill is at the very start, so you finish at the
back into town.
yeah, not at the mall, but the other the lap banner near the pants. You finish them around
Yeah.
there, coming from the tunnel direction. So yeah, it's the reverse direction. Yeah, Fox Hill is it's about maybe the same length, but indeed, I think Fox Hill it has steeper pinches, but it also eases off. Yeah, I think probably Bologna is a bit tougher. Well,
So
it feels tougher at least.
yeah, I think it's just the relentless nature of the steep segments on Bologna, I think, aren't they? That kind of Fox feels a bit more draftable. Um, so looking at any newsy stuff, there's some new Shimano Dura Ace wheels in the game, which are a level 6 unlock. They save you some time. I don't think they're kind of breaking the game or going anywhere particularly special. Have any of you looked at the Critcade steering races though? Those look quite interesting.
I
Oh
looked
no.
at the, I think I looked at the post. Yeah, it should be.
So yeah, it's a steering only event that I think is running on Wednesdays. Um, so has the new boost power-ups, which have to be used during the lap before pick up more on the next banner. They've got speed boosts and hazard pads. Red hazard pads slow you down. Blue speed boosts speed you up. They move around and can swap. And I think the boost power-up is like the one that was in the New York rides. If
Yeah,
I remember
I,
rightly.
I
So
think it's the one you get when if you ever done the ride with James and friends, you get that a lot. The
yeah.
we call it it's referably called as a wee power up.
It's
So
like when
yeah.
you're riding on the old mountain bike route where you'd hit those pads and it'd zoom you off a little. That kind of a
Yeah,
duration.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's basically crits, yeah, downtown dolphin, but you have the same things like repack rush where the introduction for the if you have steering. I think it's the bit
Hmm.
of the probably the same booster, but yeah,
And Steve, you said you had to use them. Is there a
Sorry, you
compelling
have to
reason?
have steering. You have to have steering to take
Oh,
part.
you have to have steering.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, yeah.
The steering only event. So I mean, I think it's nice for Zwift to try new things. I think it's nice for people who've got steering to have a new way to play the game. But I'm kind of quite lukewarm about this. I think um, there's enough gamification in Zwift already for me. I'm not going to dive in and do one of these and think, whoa, I get to play with steering. But yeah, nice. Some people will, and it's nice to see Zwift experimenting with new different things in game, isn't it? I just wish they'd experiment
Yeah,
with in-game scoring in segments, but
yeah, that would be nice too. I did
um,
say they released a new route too, which looks like it's sort of another crit route, just a
oh yeah,
short
I hadn't seen
yeah,
that
it's
on Jump.
Times Square Times Square circuit.
Oh,
yeah, it's
nice.
basic. It's yeah, it has a lap segment already. It's basically the if you do like Spinfinity, it's basically the a loop around Times Square on the glass roads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Three and a half K.
that's
Yeah.
a crit
Pick your
style. good style course.
Take your number of laps and got your criterion race ready to
Yeah, no
go.
segments on it though, are there? So a bit
No,
different to kind of both Glasgow and
Oh,
um Crit City routes, isn't it? That this I mean this would be it's just a pure sort of mad smash, isn't it? So power ups at the lap banner, presumably.
right.
yeah,
It's in preparation for them getting Zwift ready for points races, right? So it'll be like a stamp.
I mean, cool elimination race course, I think. But,
Elimination would be fun. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
so
my leather brain is instantly seeing multiple laps of this course.
yeah, where would you attack on it though? I mean, it's pretty pan flat, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
not much.
at the start, there's a couple of seconds. Well, I wouldn't call it. Yeah, it's uphill, but it's not steep. It's like maximum 3%. So, and then you have to. Tops out at like third 1K in the lap, so you have to still have enough power to keep for a 2.5K going.
I would say there's a lot of 90-degree bends in it, and
Yeah,
if your team all had steering, probably quite a good burrito course. Of like all get one side, all get in a line, chuck a burrito, TTT,
Yeah.
chuck a burrito, shell people off the back. I mean, it's interesting. I think there's a chat about burritos. It was either in our ladder chat or in the Pink John chat. I can't remember now,
it,
Steph, but I
it's
think
in the Amber Hatch chat because I was about to say our captain Jason Toya would love that because he apparently likes to choose the burrito as a power up.
well,
I
I
still
kind
can't
of
use it properly, but
exactly. I think it. I think people have. I've not seen people use it well. If I think about gosh, Craig has left Sadin would remember the team. There was a team that used to turn up and do hurdle into racing who used to use the sticky watt like draft parachute tactic very well. So they get a bunch of their riders at the front and they get somebody to stop and everyone would get sticky draft like chucked at the back and have to sprint past them, which is a bit like what you do with the burrito now.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think there's ways of attacking with it, but I think I think we said in our chat, you've got to be on Discord, you've got to be chatting to each other, it's got to be super coordinated. But with the number of bends there, there's the opportunity for a kind of steer, sticky draft, get people away.
yeah,
Um,
but it's definitely cornerable because we did well spin affinity and I think after Manhattan Brita was the only one of our team left with two of them just cresting the hill. The two in front of them, I was trying to draft. The front guy uses a burrito, so he technically was blocking his other rider as well. But a bit further, the other rider dropped the burrito. So yeah, I think they were definitely communicating against me probably. But yeah, it was what it is.
yeah, I think yeah, it's interesting to see how people play with that one. Um, So I think that's everything in news. I did mention earlier I had a round the horn topic, but it's completely left my brain. So should we go round the horn? Anything from you
You
folks,
were
John?
I think upgrades. You had some
Oh
Right.
yeah,
upgrades.
The bike
upgrades.
upgrade.
Yeah, I'm irked because I've actually ridden the appropriate distance, but I don't have enough drops to
Oh,
upgrade
that
my
hurt.
bike, which is really annoying. So I'm
Well,
now riding around.
welcome to my world. I think I upgraded my SLA fully for about a while ago, and it took me a couple of weeks to have enough drops to eventually buy the upgrade.
Yeah, so I might have to spend some time riding with the robobots or
Yeah.
robo pacers or look at some things. But yeah, I kind of why not dust off the kind of things that have annoyed us about Swift segment this week, John? Anything annoyed you about Swift this week?
No, I've finally realized I don't need to keep riding my SL8 since I've fully upgraded it. So I've switched to the time trial bike, which I've never ride on my own.
Yeah.
And and I thought, oh well, I'll just go ride with one of the pacer bots to keep, a steady pace on it. And it kept trying to shove me off of the time trial bike. I have to get off and, click the computer and get back on the bike, and then I have to chase to get back on. I know I'm not like in the draft or anything, but it's just
Yeah.
good to have pace, somebody to pace me. So just putting in the time there, not much time doing too many other things at once.
Well, this was the cheat I didn't realize about ZRL because it's an assigned bike. If you join
Oh,
the pen on your TT bike, it
oh,
counts as time against your TT bike. So all of us were joining on TT bikes,
that's
and
a
then
good.
being put on the assigned bike for ZRL, which was quite cool.
Yeah, yeah. Because I don't know. I think I now have a couple of hours on the TT bike, but I just have not been riding TTs.
Yeah, I've also selected a TT because I fully upgraded. I was just needing drops to buy the upgrade, but yeah, I've been using it. Combination when the New York expansion dropped, I was just doing root batch hunting plus in combination with mileage, with time towards my time trial bike whenever I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, we keep hemming and hawing in my family whether or not we're going to buy the Zwift bike with
Yeah,
the
kind of.
trainer.
It's a tempting, isn't it? I don't know how. I kind of want to see one and see how easy it is to adjust. Because like Harriet and I
Yeah.
could swap between it, and there'd be kind of. Could you just adjust between a couple of markers quite quickly, or is it like you need an Allen key and it's a bit fiddly? In which case, is it just easier to have two trainers if you've got the space?
Yeah. 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 The space is not an issue right now. So, yeah, Christmas coming and the sales probably starting. It's not going to make the decision easier. But first world
Well,
problems.
I have this Zwift bike, so I think that's quite because it has its own like well, not a multi tool, but a key thing to for the saddle and the the steer or your handlebars, so it's quite easily interchangeable, I think, for other people. But yeah,
Well,
you
even
have
for
to
you,
add.
though, how did you find setting it up to be just like your road bike? I mean, did you just measure and compare or?
I just used well the measure thingy for what my height is or whatever, and I set it to that to those parameters, and it seems to work for me. So yeah, and the crank, yeah, but the cranks are fixed. Like I don't know what it was, but I still have the version where you don't have that. Whatever you can have the different crank lengths options for it, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that they look so. That multiple crank length option is got to be the ugliest option you've got. But if you don't like 170s, I guess it's worth having that ability to change your crank length. I was recently riding an old bike that I haven't ridden in a long time with 175 millimeter cranks on it, and I was surprised how different it felt. Um, it's a little long in the top tube for me too, which is surprising, but it just felt like I was there's just lots of rotational weirdness going on. And I was like, oh, I don't like 175s anymore. I used to ride them all the time. But, could be that I'm getting old and creaky for all that. Uh, just putting so many miles on a 170 bike is with a 170 millimeter crank is just, I've gotten into the routine too hard. Love it. Yeah, I was just visiting family this last weekend, trying to convince people to get on Zwift, and may have been successful with one family member. He's looking for an outlet to get in a little better shape, and walked him through all the steps, getting a new trainer and putting his bike on it and all that kind of thing. So we shall see if we have another Zwifter in the near future. And Steve has abandoned us. Craig has abandoned us. This might be a good
Okay.
time for us to say moo, and thanks to everybody for listening to the Pinktron. Get out there, race your races, have a good time, find the fun where you can, and good night.